Washington Boulevard and Glebe Road into two right lanes. And on eastbound 66 at Glebe Road, there was an accident in the left lane. Traffic is jammed from Washington Boulevard, but the crash westbound at 28 Centerville has been cleared. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Clouds increase ahead of our next weather maker this evening. We do stay dry. Tomorrow, winter weather advisory far north and west using the district as the center point. Could be looking at a wintry mix before transitioning to all rain by mid-morning. Highs mid-30s to lower 40s. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rubin, the First Alert Weather Center.
It's 38 in Lanham, 35 in Centerville, 41 at Reagan National. I'm Maria Leaf on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin. Deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And I want to thank all the great folks who sat in for me here, and they are terrific. And all of our great affiliates from sea to shining sea, every corner of the globe. Man, oh man, Shevitz, we have a lot to talk about. Immigration as relates to Afghanistan and so forth. Venezuela. I see some legal analysts are writing extensively on how what the President and Secretary of Defense are doing is illegal and unconstitutional, which is BS. I want to tell you about the internet, how toxic it is, how manipulative people on there are, and how it adds to so much of the some of the problems we have in this country. And we'll get into all this stuff. But first, let's talk about this Venezuela issue. It's funny, Jack Keane, General Keane and I were of the same mindset, but I was digging into this. On December 20, 1989, the United States military invaded Panama. No declaration of war. It was a surprise attack. We launched Operation Just Cause. We invaded Panama. There was no consultation with Congress until after the invasion began because of fear of leaks, for the purpose of deposing Manuel Noriega. He was, among other things, another drug kingpin. He was running a narco police state. He was working closely with the Colombians, and they were shipping those drugs, not exclusively, but mostly into the United States. The theory was to restore democracy in Panama, which is fairly democratic now, and to drag Noriega. Oh, my goodness. That's crazy how my iPhone is talking to me. Let me shut that off. Sorry, folks. Wow. Comes to technology, I'm like the last to know. But as I was saying, they brought him to the United States to face drug trafficking charges. And the goal was to protect American lives. Now, the Panamanian Defense Forces, they put up a defense, but they were what they were. And there were casualties. About 300 Panamanian soldiers and civilians were killed. 23 of our soldiers were killed. Hundreds were wounded in Panama. And we backed a government by Guillermo Endara. Noriega was eventually convicted, sentenced to prison in the United States, and it goes on and on. But the point is this. That's a lot of military activity, lethal military activity intended to stop a narco mobster from using his government, his country, police state tactics, working with other countries, including enemies of ours, or certainly adversaries of ours, to push drugs into our country, which obviously is a horrible thing. He kills a lot of our people. Now, I see some of these former federal prosecutors are writing very long pieces trying to tell you that these are criminal issues, not military issues, not terrorist issues. You know, they're not mutually exclusive in this case. You can still bring somebody to justice in a courtroom if that's your goal. But the idea that you can't take action against another government in our hemisphere that is purposely killing our citizens. In the case of Venezuela, working with the communist Chinese, working with the Iranians, working with other governments, and pouring that poison into our country and contributing to the death of hundreds of thousands of American citizens is absurd. Absolutely absurd. And yet some people are writing this up as if these are war crimes. Now they're basing that on a report that the president and the secretary of defense deny that there were a few guys on one of these boats who were not killed from the explosion of the boat or were hanging on the end of the boat, and we sent in special forces or somebody to kill them. And the administration says, no, that's not what happened. So I don't see these great legal or constitutional impediments to protecting the people of this country at all. And also, Carolyn Levitt pointed out today repeatedly that we have informed Congress, that we have briefed the key committees like we're supposed to, that we have made the documentation available to them, that almost 30 members of the Senate and well over 100 members of the House have looked at the materials. Many have been briefed on it. So what is all this talk that we haven't told Congress? Now, they want more answers from the Pentagon. I guess they'll get more answers. But I just want you to know that these are actions that are being taken to defend our homeland directly. Now, I'm sure some of the isolationists will view this as another forever war, or whatever they spew. You must be a neocon. They don't even know what a neocon is. You're a neocon, you're an interventionist, you're a forever war guy. What are you? So any action pretty much to protect even the homeland directly. That shows you how unhinged these people are, for the most part. Of course, we have a right to prevent other governments from pouring drugs into our country if they conspire one with the other. That's outrageous to suggest otherwise. So you have to bring it into a courtroom. That's just nuts. It's not true. Yeah. trying to find something here. I don't think I have it. Just bear with me, folks. Yep.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Cut 11, Mr. Producer. Go.
President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
Very simple. Just stop sending drugs to the United States and there won't be a problem. But they won't stop. Because the truth is Venezuela has acted as a hub for many of these terrorist states, Marxist states, whatever states. And he's become a multi-billionaire as a result of this, pushing drugs into our country and killing our people. Now let's pretend the guy didn't run a government. It was just some billionaire sitting in Venezuela and doing it. You think we'd put up with that? The fact is he's taken over this government. He's not the duly elected person in charge of this government, 2 elections in a row. And he's using the power of a government and the geography close to the United States to pour this crap into our country. Now, for those who say this is a criminal matter and needs to be dealt with criminally, well, we'd have to send a significant land force in there to get the man, wouldn't we? Are they allowed to shoot their way in, or what do they have to do? How are they supposed to get in there? And how are they supposed to get out of there? So the president's trying to put maximum pressure on to force this guy out. For some of you isolationists out there, you might call that regime change, right, Mr. Producer? The president wants regime change in Venezuela. That's what he wants, and he's right. And he's correct. Did he say regime change? Ooh, must be a neocon Jew. Sick. Carolyn Levin on this Washington Post story says Hegseth ordered everyone from the drug boat killed. She said, that's not true. Cut 14, go.
The initial order from Secretary Hegseth, everyone be killed, and did that come from President Trump?
I saw that quoted in a Washington Post story. I would reject that the Secretary of War ever said that. However, the president has made it quite clear that if narco-terrorists, again, are trafficking illegal drugs towards the United States, he has the authority to kill them. And that's what this administration is doing.
So now the usual anti-Americans are calling this a war crime. A war crime? And many of these people spewing the phrase war crime have been defenders of Putin, have been defenders of Hamas. They're very subjective about their moral claims. This guy, Senator Mark Kelly, who was encouraging the military to basically overthrow this administration. Here he is, cut 15, go.
Based on what CNN is reporting, what the Washington Post is reporting, do you believe if there was a second strike to eliminate any survivors, that constitutes?
I've told you before, there is no difference between the media and the Democrat Party. There's just none. The media exists to advance the propaganda, the talking points, the policies, the power of the Democrat Party. They exist for no other reason in this country. Go ahead.
It seems to. If that is true, if what has been reported is accurate, I've got serious concerns about anybody in that chain of command stepping over a line that they should never step over. We are not Russia. We're not Iraq. We hold ourselves.
Too bad they don't understand our military history. We're not Russia. We're not Iraq. We don't have to be Russia and Iraq. We want nothing to do with them. It's amazing to me, how they would have our war fighters fight wars with their hands tied behind their backs. This is why you have such disasters under the Democrats and under some Republicans. Here's this guy, Angus King, named after a cow. Cut 16, go.
It's all about the facts, Kate. The law is clear. If the facts are as have been alleged, that there was a second strike specifically to kill the survivors in the water, that's a stone cold war crime. It's also murder. So the real question is,
it's amazing. They will bend over backwards to give quote unquote due process to mass murderers, to murderers who are imported into our country. They will bend over backwards. But when it comes to Pete Hegseth, that's murder, man. These are war crimes. If he gave these orders, he's finished. That's it. That's it. Based on a New York Post story that's been denied. Go ahead.
Which orders, when were they given? And that's what we're going to get to the bottom of in the Congress. As you point out, the bipartisan interest in this, Roger Wicker, the chair of the Armed Services Committee, has said we're going to dig into this. So it's really
you did. It's amazing to me how close some of these rhinos are with the isolationists. It's amazing to me. Running around, neocon, and yet they're the cons. So here we have the rhinos. They're raising questions like the isolationists raise questions. And what are we trying to do here? Protect the United States directly and the people of the United States from one of the most horrendous drug warlords in the world, who uses his military to kill his people, to torture his people, to rape his people, to enslave his people, as well as hired gangsters and militia, in order to keep control over that society and continue to make his tens of billions of dollars killing our people. It's just funny in a sick way. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
In Arlington, there is still crash activity on eastbound 66 at Glebe Road in the left lane, and traffic is jammed from Washington Boulevard. Westbound side is heavy from the Beltway to 123 and from the Fairfax County Parkway to the car rest area. The accident on 395 southbound between Washington Boulevard and Glebe Road clear, but it is still slow through that area. And northbound is slow from Boundary Channel to the 14th Street Bridge, and the freeway is slow eastbound between the 14th Street Bridge and the 3rd Street Tunnel. 95 still heavy southbound from Newington to Woodbridge and from the Prince William Parkway to Dale Boulevard, and the northbound side heavy from the Fairfax County Parkway to the Beltway. Now from GarageBoardCare.com, the WMAL Star Some forecast.
Overcast tonight with a wintry mix developing late, lows in the 20s. Wintry mix tomorrow, highs in the upper 30s.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
Tu camino hacia la educación para adultos empieza con AEPT. Te ayudamos a encontrar los programas que mejor se adapten a tu rutina. Saber más en nyset.gov/adulting. Este es un mensaje del Departamento de Educación del Estado de Nueva York.
At Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, we know healthcare works best, but it works together. That's why we provide a coordinated, caring, personalized, and holistic health plan experience, ensuring that people come first. The service is simple, and our network is unmatched, period. It all comes down to connecting the dots for you and your employees, improving care, and helping to manage costs for everyone. Because when everything works together, everybody benefits. Learn more at excelisforbusiness.com.
Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text, or chat 988 if you're having tough thoughts, substance use issues, stress at home or at work. They can even talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. Just connect with 988, a message from the New York State Office of Mental Health.
Carmelo Anthony here for DraftKings Sportsbook. An 82-game season, that's a grind. Trust me, I already know about that. The Emirates NBA Cup turns it up even more, and DraftKings Sportsbook lets you feel that fire every night. New customers, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passersby are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there is help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org. That's creditfairy.org. Brought to you by the Consumer Bankers Foundation, the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights Education Fund, and the Ad Council.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2, and you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today. WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939. WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
And for the bottom of the hour, I do want to hit immigration very hard next hour. What is America first? What role does the internet play in promoting neo-fascism and Marxism and Islamism? You know, I was thinking about this. I put it to the test over the past week. Dropped a few thoughts, my arguments, linked to a few people. Proved to be exactly what I thought it was. I'm not an internet person. I'm a radio and a TV guy, but I do have a huge announcement. I can't do it now. After the holiday break about the expansion of my platforms. I think it'll be very, very interesting in it. But not for now. But I want to get into this subject because I think it is toxic and poisoning the minds of a lot of young people and others. And not necessarily by other young people. I'll be right back. You know, in all the time I've been supporting Pure Talk, my wireless company, I can honestly say I've never seen an offer like this from them. Unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data with a 30 gig hotspot. Just $29.95 a month for life. Friends, this is Pure Talk's top tier plan, normally $65 a month. Now through December 7th, just $29.95 a month. You're saving over 50% a month every month for life. Dial pound 250, say Mark Levin for Pure Talk's best unlimited plan. Just $29.95 a month for life. Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team can have you switched in minutes. Keep your phone, keep your number, but start saving with unlimited for life for just $29.95 a month. Again, dial pound 250, say Mark Levin, switch to my wireless company, Pure Talk. Taxes and fees not included. Some restrictions apply. See puretalk.com for details. Offer ends December 7th, 2025.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 6:30. I'm Maria Leaf. The White House restricting travel from Afghanistan after the shooting of 2 National Guard troops by an Afghan suspect last week. Speaking to reporters this afternoon, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt promised to crack down on both legal and illegal immigration.
The Trump administration issued a travel ban for 19 countries, including Afghanistan. Special immigrant visas, which is a legal pathway to get here, which we know many Afghans have utilized to come into the country, have now been paused since the tragic shooting last week.
On Wall Street tonight, the Dow finished the day down 427 points, the S&P 500 down 36, the NASDAQ down 90. WMAL traffic from the Deep Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Still slow going the inner loop of the Beltway between the Dulles Toll Road and the 270 spur and from Old Georgetown Road to New Hampshire Avenue. Now, there is some slow traffic through College Park and Lanham, and a report of a crash on the inner loop before Branch Avenue. Use caution there. Outer loop still heavy through Tyson's from 123 to the Little River Turnpike and from Van Dorn Street to the Wilson Bridge. And also, you will find accident activity right now on Branch Avenue southbound after the Beltway at Linda Lane. In College Park, watch out for water main repair work on northbound Route 1 north of Metzgerott Road, right at Lackawanna Street, and that is blocking the right lane. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Overcast with a wintry mix developing late tonight. Lows in the 20s. Wintry mix tomorrow. Highs in the upper 30s. 41 at Reagan National. I'm Maria Leaf on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
Meet Rachel. National University supports all her ands. With flexible online courses, she can be a student and an adventurer and a multitasker. She's an ander. Explore National University's 4- and 8-week courses and associate to doctorate degrees. National University, supporting all your ands. Learn more at nu.edu.
Org. Making sense of your world.
Thank you for your clear insight.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
This is a major wake-up call.
Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of the economy because it's your money and your retirement. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Mark Levin, making conservatism great again. Dial in now. 877-381-3811.
You know, there's a lot of good that goes on the internet, but there's a lot of very bad that goes on there too. You'll notice these assassins like to hang out on the internet, like to hang out in these They call them boardrooms. They're really very dark rooms where dangerous attitudes are reinforced over and over again. Elon Musk, to his great credit, has taken the veil off of many of the people who post there, many of the accounts there. A lot of them are foreign, enemy countries, adversary countries that we see. Most people who post are anonymous in terms of their actual identity, or they at least try to be. Some are not, don't get me wrong, but most are. And unfortunately, a lot of this current generation gets a lot of its news and information off the internet. Now, that's okay if they go to places that actually have news and entertainment. But it's not great when they go there and their minds are intentionally manipulated and poisoned. Intentionally so. And when you put that on top of what they're being taught, the brainwashing that goes on in K through 12, and for those who attend college, by the faculty there on Marxism, Islamism, and so forth, anti-Americanism, this is certainly part of the reason why we're losing the younger generation. Not all of it, by the way, maybe not even most of it. Can't trust pollsters these days, that's for sure. You can't trust them most days. But it is much more of a daunting and difficult task, isn't it, to reinforce what was reinforced into you about faith, family, and country, and patriotism. It's a very, very toxic environment. There's a lot of character assassination that goes on there. It's not so much free speech. In fact, the effort is to intimidate people, to silence people. Sort of a mob think, mob rule. So it's not intended to spread free speech at all. But nonetheless, there it is. And so I just wanted to point this out. We saw a few of these guys who were putative pollsters. Some guy named Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen. I used to like Rasmussen. I knew Scott Rasmussen. He was a good guy, by the way. Sold the company. 2018, they had one of the worst polls of any pollster, as I recall. The midterm election. Remember those midterm elections where we were going to win dozens and dozens of seats, and we didn't? In fact, we barely won at all, 2018. He apparently got it wrong. That's the nature of polling. I get it. You're not always going to be right. You're not always going to be wrong. But don't act like you know everything when you know actually very little. In fact, you started nothing, you inherited something. There's also a guy named Rich Barris. I'd never heard of Rich Barris before. He's got kind of a seedy background, but I'm not going to get into that. I'll leave it to him on the internet to do that. And I bring up these two guys, and there's a lot more. I put a post up saying that, look, people are going to want to know, and I want to know, and I want to inform you. Any candidate that runs for office who seeks our endorsement, I want to know if they stand with Tucker Carlson or against him. Now, why is that important? It's not so much because of Tucker Carlson or even Fuentes or even Bannon or the lesser knowns or the worst of them. It's because it tells you where they stand on fundamental issues of morality and ethics and principle, on fundamental issues, a fundamental understanding of America and American history. And whether you're a bigot and a racist and an anti-Semite and somebody who is now attacking Christianity, or if you're somebody who makes excuses for the Third Reich, who promotes the rewriting of history, so America's the bad guy. So Churchill and England, they're the bad guys. That's not America first. They can twist it any way they want. That plays into this psychodrama that goes on the internet. It's interesting that the Marxist Islamists and these, what are they, neo-fascists, whatever they are, call them what you wish. They call them the woke Reich, R-E-I-C-H. But whatever you want to call them, it's interesting that they overlap in this area, isn't it? Some of them are pushing Sharia while condemning Judaism and Christianity. And the West, the entire West. I mean, after all, you know, you could put your key in your Lamborghini and keep it there. Nobody's going to steal it. Ah, that's the test. There's not a great defense of capitalism, not a great defense of free markets that created this country and created all the wealth and the opportunity. Imperfect as it is, more perfect than anything else. There's not a great defense of the founders, our principles. None of that is going on there. Very little. Very little. And they use the language of the Leninists and the Maoists, the old guard. You people out there who are 30 and older, maybe 40, you're the old guard. You people who work for a living, who pay the taxes, who've built this country, you're the old guard. You don't know anything. No, if you're 18 years old, you know everything. If you're 21 years old, you know everything. If you're hanging around the internet and you're 40 or 50 years old, you're a genius. But all of you folks, you don't know anything. You're the old guard. You're the establishment. Yet we're not the establishment. We're the Reaganites. We're the William Buckleyites. We're the Goldwaterites. We're the Milton Friedmanites. All the people who fought the Republican establishment decade after decade after decade, and in many ways succeeded. Succeeded. I find a lot of these people utterly unprincipled. Utterly unprincipled. What do they stand for? They run around with these slogans and platitudes, just like the Marxists do. Just like they do. They attack many of the same institutions. Yes, they do. So it's very interesting. So we're going to delve into it more over time. And we're going to sort of institutionalize what we do and push it more and more into the internet to try and counter some of this. We want debate. We want ideas. But we're not going to debate Nazis and neo-Nazis and that sort of thing. That's not a debate. That is an unhinged mentality. Absolutely unhinged. And we've debated all these people before on the left. We don't debate Nazis and racists and bigots. There's nothing to debate. There's nothing to debate. We will debate everybody else, as we always have and we always will. That's right. So we look at this, and we will keep a measure on this, people who stand one way or the other. America first is not Putin first. America first is not Islamism and Sharia law over Judaism and Christianity and Judeo-Christian values that built this nation, in which most of you practice and embrace. America first is not Qatar that supported 9/11. It's the greatest terrorist state on the face of the earth over Israel, which is a reliable ally. America first isn't lying about Christianity and trashing evangelical Christians. That's not America first. America first is a big government socialism and the centralization of economic decisions over capitalism. That doesn't build America. That doesn't help young people buy homes. It's the same old, same old. America first is not racism and anti-Semitism and bigotry. And it's certainly not anti-Americanism. When you stand with the Third Reich, that's anti-Americanism. Stand against The greatest generation. Unfortunately, most of them are gone. They're not even here to defend themselves as if they should, right? America First isn't trashing Ronald Reagan and Bill Buckley and Barry Goldwater and Milton Friedman and so many of the great men on whose shoulders we stand. And just because we have an ignorant class, whether they be pollsters or politicians or propagandists, who seem to think that they were born with all the knowledge in the world, that seem to think the younger you are, the smarter you are. They reject Edmund Burke. They reject Adam Smith. They reject Cicero and Aristotle, and I can go on and on and on. They don't even know what I'm talking about. But a podcaster, yeah, that's good. And some of these guys are in their 30s and 40s. Look at us, the younger generation. You're not younger. Carlson's in his 50s. And that doesn't matter anyway. You have Marxists. Like Bernie Sanders, he's 80 years old. You've got Islamists who are in their 80s and 90s. You've got great men and women who are in their 80s and 90s. What does age have to do with it? I'll tell you what it has to do with it. Because this is a Marxist mentality. Categorizing people. Oh, you must be a boomer. Yeah, we're the boomers who built the country on the backs of the generation that preceded us. And you've built what exactly? Nothing. Zero. But we're waiting for you to build. We want to help you to build. You're our children and our grandchildren. But you're not in charge. And there are people who are seeking to manipulate you and indoctrinate you as they grift their way through life. They've contributed nothing to anything. I'm not just talking about a few miscreants and malcontents, pollsters and the like, but others who seek to manipulate. Think for yourself. Yes, it requires reading and so forth. Educate yourself. Take a time out from time to time on the internet. Look at other walks of life. Embrace other things. It'll make a difference. We have found, what was it you found, Rich? 35-40% of the accounts that attack us are overseas. This is not a learning experience when you're on the internet. Now, you can be. Prager University is outstanding, and there's others just like it. I'm not talking about them. People who use the internet for good, to uplift our country, to reinforce our principles. That's a good thing. But people who spew bigotry and racism and anti-Semitism, anti-Christianity, people who spew that the Islamist point of view is actually in many ways better than our own point of view. People who trash our country and then want you to believe they're pro our country, and if you disagree with them, you've got the problem. We've seen people like this before. They're very evil and very nasty. And you got to stand up to them. And we will. There's a guy with a website called Conservative Treehouse. This guy has been a kook for decades. And he's still very upset at me for calling him out for what he is years and years ago, Mr. Reed. Remember him? He's back. But he doesn't matter. He's irrelevant. They're all irrelevant. But they have an impact. Even if it's on a few people, it's enough people on the internet. That's where they live, on the internet. They can't function very well anywhere else. On the internet. That's where they are. That's where they pray, P-R-E-Y. And that's where they push their influence as much as they possibly can. There's a counter force out there going on that I'm noticing too. Again, I was just there for a week, immersed in it. Wanted to see how it works and so forth. I have almost 5 million followers there. I don't promote the internet. I don't promote our site on the internet very much. But that's going to change. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
It's RSV season.
Making sense of your morning.
Lots of coverage here on that developing story.
O'Connor and Company.
Weekday mornings from 5 to 9. Larry O'Connor here getting you through your morning.
Making sense of Washington.
Asking some very specific questions, some legitimate questions.
Making sense of the double standard.
And here's the latest example.
Making sense of the headlines.
Let me break it down for you, because there's plenty to break down here.
O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor.
Mornings from 5 to 9.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
In Arlington, there is still accident activity on eastbound 66 at Glebe Road in the left lane, and traffic is jammed from Washington Boulevard. Westbound side is heavy from the Beltway to 123 and from the Fairfax County Parkway to the car rest area. And on 95 southbound after Dale Boulevard, that accident moved to the left shoulder with traffic still jams up from Continuing Parkway. Also still slow southbound from Newington in towards Woodbridge. And you will still find delays on the Beltway inner loop from the toll road to the spur and from Old Georgetown Road to New Hampshire Avenue at 95. And at Camp Springs, there is an accident on the inner loop before Branch Avenue. And still a crash on southbound Branch Avenue just after the Beltway. Now from GarageRepair.com, for WMAL, still watch some forecast.
Overcast tonight with a wintry mix developing late, lows in the 20s. Wintry mix tomorrow, highs in the upper 30s.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, the new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
It's 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreements. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
Hi, it's Larry. Want to hear the fastest way to know what your home would sell for? Reach out to Reynolds and Power Home team. Simply text your address to 800-763-3000. No phone call, just text your address to 800-763-3000. 800-763-3000.
But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Mini-series on colonial America offers a fresh way to think about Thanksgiving. Beyond the food and the political debates, it reminds us what we should truly be thankful for: our freedom, our prosperity, and our faith. In a brand new 6-part documentary series, Hillsdale College professors will teach you the religious, political, cultural, and economic ideas that shaped a uniquely American culture during the colonial period. You'll learn why the idea of liberty, especially religious liberty, inspired the settlers of America to cross the Atlantic, and why America has always been a land where virtue can lead to peace and prosperity. The Hillsdale College mini-series is completely free and it's easy to access. Plus, Hillsdale offers more than 40 other free online courses, including a course on C.S. Lewis, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic. So go right now to levinforhillsdale.com to enroll. There's no cost, easy to get started. That's levinforhillsdale.com. Register for free, LEVIN for Hillsdale.com.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
Making sense of the news.
Let every heart prepare him room. Heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.
Right now in war-torn Ukraine, by the way, no corruption is acceptable. Chief of Staff to President of Ukraine, that is a grotesque abuse of power. There's no question about it. I think they said $100 million, Mr. Producer, something like that. But how come I don't hear that criticism of Putin, who's worth over $40 billion? Some say he's worth hundreds of billions of dollars. He's the biggest crook on the planet. The biggest crook on the planet. But that's different, Mark. It's different. So they'll find out 15 different ways to tell you why it's different. They won't condemn both, like I just did. No. Putin's their boy. Right now in war-torn Ukraine, elderly people like Maria face a brutal winter and a constant search for food. Maria is 85 years old and lives alone. She's nearly blind and has a broken hip. Maria is a Holocaust survivor. Her father and brother were murdered by the Nazis. And Maria still lives in her childhood home. There's no indoor plumbing. There's no heat. It's brutally cold. And today, like yesterday, she barely has enough food to survive. Her hunger is unbearable. She prays for warmth and food and someone to help her. And through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a fantastic organization. Your tax-deductible gift of $25 goes a long way. It helps provide a survival food box, life-saving aid for someone like Maria. Folks, don't delay. Your gift today to the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews will immediately help provide the life-saving food and hope that Maria and many like her desperately need. It's a great blessing if you do this. It truly is. To rush your tax-deductible gift so they can get the food to these people as soon as possible, please call 844-866-IFCJ. That's 844-866-IFCJ, or online at levinforthefellowship.org. That's LEVIN for thefellowship.org. What a great group. Truly great group. I want to get into more about the internet, but I also want to get into heavily into this immigration issue in Afghanistan, because there's a bigger picture here. We've discussed it in the past, but I want to underscore it again. We'll be right back.
Making sense of your world.
Thanks for taking my call.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Greatly appreciated.
Making sense of the news.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2025. Last chance! Donate now for a 2025 tax deduction.
If your furnace lets you down, call the sharpest team in town. Meet
David Mead Snell here, owner of Mead's Heating and Air. Calling all dew sweepers. Yep, I didn't know what a dew sweeper was either, up until about a week ago when I got myself out on the golf course at the crack of dawn. As I'm walking up to the starter, he looks at me and says, "There's my dew sweeper. You're the first one out today, so you'll be sweeping off the dew from my pristine fairways, and I appreciate you for it." He then watched me hit the first one about 15 feet. And the second one, right into the trees. So I looked back dramatically and proclaimed, "The dew will live to fight another day," and sped off into the sunrise. Look, heating season is fast approaching. Be the first to get your $79 heating inspection from Mead's Heating and Air on the schedule. Be a dew sweeper.
If your furnace lets you down, call the sharpest team in town. Meet WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 7. I'm Maria Leaf. Much of the area could see its first taste of winter tonight.
That winter alert will start at midnight, and that'll go through the early morning hours tomorrow. I think we can drop the winter alert by 9 a.m. as the cold rain will take over for the late morning into the early afternoon. But of course, that Tuesday morning drive, there will be that potential for some slick spots in the D.C. area and light snow accumulations to the north and west as well.
7 News meteorologist Jordan Evans. There are a lot of names being floated to possibly run for the mayor's job in D.C. Today, we got our first official candidate.
I'm Janice Lewis-George, and I'm running for mayor because D.C. is worth fighting for.
The council member, a self-described Democratic Socialist, has represented Ward 4 since 2021. She says in a social media video her campaign will focus on public safety and economic issues, such as lowering the cost of housing and childcare. Initially skeptical of the massive stadium deal, Lewis-George ended up voting for it after securing an agreement from the Commanders to expand union protections. Her announcement comes on the heels of Zoran Mandani's victory in the New York City mayoral race. John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Some promising news tonight about the condition of Andrew Wolf, the National Guard service member who was shot last week in downtown D.C. This is West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey.
We were told that Andrew was asked if he could hear the nurse who asked the question to give a thumbs up, and he did respond. And we were told that he also wiggled his toes. So we take that as a positive sign.
National Guard member Sarah Beckstrom died from her injuries. A 29-year-old Afghan national is the suspect. He faces 1 count so far of first-degree murder and 2 counts of assault with intent to kill while armed. Nearly 40 years after a 23-year-old woman was found strangled and sexually assaulted in her Frederick apartment, the case has now been solved.
Our detectives and crime scene analysts never walked away from this case.
Frederick Police Chief Jason Lando in a video explaining at the time the leads in the killing of Dolores Marie Thompson led nowhere until new DNA technology,
which identified a convicted offender, Calvin Ziegler, as the person responsible. Ziegler died in 2010. But the truth did not die with him.
Lando adding the state's attorney reviewed the findings,
allowing us to now officially close this case.
Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
A driver who slowed for a man on crutches trying to cross the road early Friday morning in Laurel was then carjacked at gunpoint by 2 accomplices who ran out of the surrounding woods, pulled the driver from the car on Brockbridge Road, threatened the driver with a shotgun, and then fled. Anne Arundel County Police say they are looking for 3 suspects in that case. On Wall Street tonight, the Dow finished the day down 427 points. The S&P 500 down 36. The NASDAQ down 90. WMAL traffic and weather next.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
Are you a parent of a child with disabilities who desperately needs a break? Then you need to know about Jill's House. To find out more, visit our website, jillshouse.org.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Still slow going the inner loop from the Dulles Toll Road to the Spur and more delays in Bethesda and towards College Park. In Camp Springs, there is an accident on the inner loop before Branch Avenue, and that has traffic jam from between Marlborough Road. Outer loop still heavy from Van Dorn Street to the Wilson Bridge, and there is an accident on southbound Branch Avenue after the Beltway at Linda Lane, causing delays from St. Barnabas Road. In Arlington, still the crash on eastbound 66 at Glebe Road in the left lane. Traffic is slow from Washington Boulevard. Westbound side is heavy from Route 28 Centerville to the car rest area. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Clouds increase ahead of our next weather maker this evening. We do stay dry. Tomorrow, winter weather advisory far north and west using the district as your center point. Could be looking at a wintry mix before transitioning to all rain by mid-morning. Highs mid-30s to lower 40s. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin in the First Alert Weather Center.
It's 35 right now in Lanham, 33 in Centerville, 40 at Reagan National. I'm Maria Leaf on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin.
In the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. You'll also notice, well, many of you won't because you don't bother with it. I don't blame you for mental health purposes. That a lot of these people who claim to be America first and they turn on the president on a dime. I went back and I looked at their attacks on the president, claiming this guy, Rick or Rich Barris, for example. I know you don't know who he is. It doesn't really matter. But the point is, in the middle of the summer, he was trashing the president, warning him that MAGA was turning on him over Epstein. He pretty much regurgitates what Tucker Carlson says. But MAGA didn't turn on the president on Epstein. It's not even an issue that anybody cares about in MAGA or anywhere else but these grifters. They're looking for these issues. But it doesn't help the country when they do what they do and when they play along with the radical left in their media. It doesn't help the country at all. And you'll see them stab the president in the back when it comes to Venezuela. It's kind of starting. It's kind of a soft move, but nonetheless, you can start to see it. He's going against MAGA. He is MAGA. Going against MAGA. He's a hawk. He's a neocon. They don't even know what a neocon is, but it's a pejorative for Jew. That's how they use it, because they're very stupid. Very simply, a neoconservative is a name that was applied to people who'd been like FDR Democrats, but then came over more hawkish to the Republican Party, sort of in the 50s, but especially with Reagan. Gene Kirkpatrick is a perfect example. Tucker Carlson's father is another perfect example, was a very, very good man. And others. And so now anybody who supports our military, certain military action, having alliances and supporting our allies is a neocon, especially if they're Jewish. It's crazy. That's not Trump. Trump is not an isolationist. There was never Charlie Kirk. How can it be? It's suicide. It's the suicide of the West when our enemies are on the move. China's not impressed. Until Iran was defeated by Israel and their nukes were taken out by us our military, Iran was not impressed. Putin's not impressed. And how can you be making excuses for all of our enemies? Almost going back to World War II and then claim you're America first. That's not America first. That's a delusion. But sloganeering is very, very important to the propagandist. Very important. Because that's what they push, slogan after slogan after slogan after slogan. You must be a fill in the blank. You must be part of the old guard. You must be a neocon. It means nothing. It's a triggering mechanism. It's sort of Fuentes-like. They don't have the guts to say full-blown what they mean, but that's what they mean. That's who they are. Let's get into this immigration issue. Since I've been talking about this longer than most, since we here, you Levinites, we fought the Gang of Eight. Remember the Gang of Eight? McCain, even back then, Rubio, some of the others, and then the Democrats too. Remember the Gang of Eight? In my view, in your view, Mr. and Mrs. America was all about massive amnesty. Our position has not changed. In fact, our principles are what they are no matter what. Many years ago, I wrote probably one of the biggest selling conservative books in modern history, Liberty and Tyranny. As we were part of the Tea Party movement at the time, you may recall. I guess that's the old guard too. Neocons, no doubt. But many of you were, and many of you are now MAGA. In fact, it's my theory that meant much of the Tea Party became MAGA. It's a very significant overlap of ideas. But in Chapter 9 on immigration, the statists' argument, does this sound like old guard to you? For comprehensive immigration reform reduces to this: America is a nation of immigrants. The founding and settling of the nation came about because of immigrants who braved dangers to come to this country, risked everything to build the prosperity we enjoy today. Certainly, this is true as far as it goes. Of course, to say this is a nation of immigrants is to say every nation is a nation of immigrants. Mexico, the source of most immigrants to the United States today, is a nation of Spanish and other immigrants. The implication is, however, that both legal and illegal immigration, no matter how extensive, is another moral imperative, justifying the transformation of this civil society. Not true. Once again, the Declaration, remember, this was written 15, 16, 17 years ago. Once again, the Declaration of Independence provides guidance on the issue. Old guard, I guess. It states in relevant part that to secure these unalienable rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Moreover, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish the government and institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to reflect their safety and happiness. And so I asked, have the governed American citizens consented to the current state of legal and illegal immigration in this nation? Do current immigration policies and enforcement practices affect the safety and happiness of the people? And by the way, this is long before what Biden did to the country in one of the most heinous, outrageous acts of any president, opening the borders. The statists insist that in particular the 21st century immigrant in the United States is the spiritual heir of the immigrants who helped build the nation. His motives are said to be noble and his ambitions as honorable as those of the founders. Deny him access to America's bounty and freedom displays an un-American meanness, they say. Meanness of character. Is a renunciation of America's heritage. Even worse, the statist portrays the immigrant as universally more virtuous than the citizen. He's said to aspire to and indeed achieve a higher position of worthiness than the citizen, for he is doing quote-unquote jobs Americans won't do. Quote, is a person of faith, unquote, and quote, a strong family man. The citizen is said to owe his sustenance to the immigrant, who builds his home, maintains his property, harvests his food, raises his children, goes to war, etc. Therefore, even the illegal immigrant, they say, deserves a privileged status in society. in the sense that his lawbreaking is said to be a personal necessity and societal value. Consequently, he must be urged out of the shadows and into the light. He must be celebrated as a role model, and his virtuousness must be rewarded with citizenship. Pretty much that was it, right? For the conservative, this is truly an odd formulation, since it demeans the citizen and his paramount role in American society. It is the community of citizens who consent to be governed and for whom the government exists. The principal responsibility of the government is to the citizen. Otherwise, the government ceases to be legitimate. To say that the citizen, who is in fact primarily responsible for the nation's character and the culture to which the alien immigrates, is less valuable to American society than the immigrating alien is nonsensical. No society can withstand the unconditional mass migration of aliens from every corner of the earth. The preservation of the nation's territorial sovereignty and the culture, language, mores, traditions, and customs that make possible a harmonious community of citizens dictate that citizenship be granted only by the consent of the governed, not by the unilateral actions or demands of the alien, and then only aliens who will throw off their allegiance to their former nation and pledge allegiance to America. Claremont Institute, a great institute, senior, and I attended it, senior fellow and California State University professor Edward Ehrlich, reflecting Aristotle's observation, he was also old guard, writes, quote, "A radical change in the character of the citizens would be tantamount to a regime change, just as surely as a revolution in its political principles. The government, therefore, is not only justified, but obligated to qualify immigration to those most likely to contribute to the well-being of the civil society, and to create the conditions in which aliens of differing backgrounds can be absorbed into the American culture." Yes, indeed. You know, the big push for what's happening today occurred 60 years ago during the Great Society. Before that, but especially 60 years ago. The late author Theodore White, who was no conservative, wrote that the Immigration Act of 1965 changed all previous patterns, and in so doing probably changed the future of America. It was noble, revolutionary, and probably the most thoughtless of the many acts of the Great Society. In the 1960s, Cesar Chavez, one of the founders of the United Farm Workers Union, vehemently opposed illegal immigration, arguing it undermined his efforts to unionize farm workers and improve working conditions and wages for American citizen workers. The UFW even reported illegal immigrants to the Immigration and Naturalization Service that preceded ICE. 1969, Chavez himself led a march accompanied by Ralph Abernathy, president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and the former lieutenant to Martin Luther King, and Senator Walter Mondale, big Lib Democrat, along the border with Mexico, protesting the farmers' use of illegal immigrants. Can you imagine that? Wow. It's changed a lot, hasn't it? Yes. The status tolerates the illegal aliens' violations of working wage and environmental standards because the aliens' babies born in America are, under the current interpretation of the 14th Amendment, treated as United States citizens. And under the 1965 Hart-Celler Act, that's what Theodore White was talking about, upon turning 21 years of age, the child can sponsor additional family members for citizenship, chain migration. So from the status perspective, the pool of future administrative state constituents and sympathetic voters is bottomless. But does the 14th Amendment grant automatic citizenship to the children of illegal aliens? The relevant part of the amendment reads that, and this is way before people were even debating this issue, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. Now, this language requires more than birth within the United States. The amendment's purpose was to grant citizenship to the emancipated slaves who were born in the United States and owed sole allegiance to the United States. Native Americans who were also subject to tribal jurisdiction were excluded from citizenship. There is no legislative history supporting the absurd proposition that the 14th Amendment was intended to empower legal alien parents to confer American citizenship on their own babies merely as a result of their birth in the United States. Foreign visitors and diplomats are not subject to American jurisdiction. Illegal aliens are subject to the jurisdiction of their home country, as are their children, whether they're born in their home country or in the United States. This is Liberty and Tyranny. I'm not going to read the whole book or even the whole chapter. I'm telling you this because for some reason, less than 20 years later, the idea has grown that if a foreigner wants to come into the United States, they have a right to come here. And if they come here illegally, they have a right to stay. They have a right to the welfare state. They have a right to basically anything that an American citizen has: education, health care, housing, food stamps, and a right to vote, and a right to be counted in the census. All of this in less than 20 years. Now, we've spent a lot of time over the decades, you and me, Mr. and Mrs. America, condemning this, condemning when the Republicans were buckling under the Gang of Eight, condemning George W. Bush when he was pushing his agenda. You stopped it. You recall that, Mr. Producer? We had a massive campaign here. We lit up the board on Capitol Hill. You stopped it. You stopped the Gang of Eight, Republican members on the committee. They would call me and ask me to tell you to stop. Two of them, especially, one of whom you know well, and I won't get into it. You stopped them right here. You have stopped a lot of what the establishment Republicans have tried to do over the decades. We are activists here. We're on a mission here. We believe in ideas. We believe in arguments. We believe in substance. We believe in history. Most of all, we believe in this country. We're not foreign bots. We're not come and go grifters. We're here for the long term. And we will always be here. It's not me, it'll be somebody else. And I want to dig into this Afghanistan issue again, as we had when Biden did what he did, but a little differently. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join Medishare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining Medishare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And Medishare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. Medishare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
The Paul Steffen Home has saved hundreds of women and babies since it began its Save Babies One Mom at a Time mission. To save the baby, you must save the mom too. Please donate today. PaulSteffenHome.org. PaulSteffenHome.org.
Carmelo Anthony here for DraftKings Sportsbook. An 82-game season, that's a grind. Trust me, I already know about that. The Emirates NBA Cup turns it up even more, and DraftKings Sportsbook lets you feel that fire every night. New customers, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
At Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, we know healthcare works best when it works together. That's why we provide a coordinated, caring, personalized, and holistic health plan experience, ensuring that people come first. Service is simple, and our network is unmatched, period. It all comes down to connecting the dots for you and your employees, improving care, and helping to manage costs for everyone. Because when everything works together, everybody benefits. Learn more at excelisforbusiness.com.
And I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Making sense of your world.
I don't know where to begin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Thanks for taking my call.
Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of the markets. Because generational wealth doesn't build itself. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
You know, I've been warning about radical Islam even while I came under attack for mentioning it. I wish more of my brothers and sisters in Conservative Talk Radio had done so. It's not good enough after these events occur, I'm just being honest, to start talking about it. It's better than nothing, I suppose. I've talked about the funding that's come into this country from Qatar, from Iran, from Hamas, of course, Communist China, to influence this country. From my first days in broadcasting, I talked about CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, that is a Hamas front group, that it promotes terror. And people were scared to death, and we got calls to our affiliates complaining about it. This is why history matters. This is why it's important to understand what has already taken place, to know what you need to do moving into the future. The world didn't begin today. Certainly didn't begin with a couple of knucklehead pollsters or guys with a website or anything like that. It's much more complicated than that, and it's broader than that. And these are basically sort of hemorrhoids in the body politic. What I'm talking about now is very, very serious. Open borders, massive numbers of people into this country who hate us. You have to believe, and now you should believe, people were sent into this country to do us no good. People coming into this country, there's an infrastructure now, this is key. There is an infrastructure of Marxist, Islamist, violent radicals that are now in this country training people.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2.
and you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
The Beltway going to be looking at stop and go traffic after the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. Slow from 210 to Branch Avenue. In a loop, they're going to be tapping the brakes as well just prior to Branch Ave. 395 northbound getting along a little bit slow across the 14th Street Bridge heading into the district. DC 295 southbound also slow from Benning Road down past East Capitol Street. Northbound, minor delays from the 11th Street Bridge up to East Capitol Street. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Overcast tonight with a wintry mix developing late, lows in the 20s. Wintry mix tomorrow, highs in the upper 30s.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now, you'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
The Paul Steffen Home has saved hundreds of women and babies since it began its Save Babies One Mom at a Time mission. To save the baby, we must save the mom too. Please donate today. PaulSteffenHome.org. PaulSteffenHome.org.
At Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, we know healthcare works best when it works together. That's why we provide a coordinated, caring, personalized, and holistic health plan experience, ensuring that people come first. Service is simple, and our network is unmatched, period. It all comes down to connecting the dots for you and your employees, improving care, and helping to manage costs for everyone. Because when everything works together, everybody benefits. Learn more at excelisforbusiness.com.
Celebrate the holidays with Stella Rosa wines. These semi-sweet, semi-sparkling wines are the perfect pairing for all your festive favorites. Enjoy Stella Rosa Black with baked ham, or pop open a bottle of Stella Rosa Prosecco to go with a slice of apple pie. Whether you're hosting friends or toasting family, Stella Rosa makes every holiday moment special. Must be 21 plus to celebrate.
Thinking about continuing your education? Start with AEPP. We make it easy to find adult education programs that fit your life. Whether it's preparing for your GED, building your reading and writing skills, or discovering apprenticeship opportunities, our programs are always expanding to make sure you receive the personalized support, flexibility, and options that work for you and your future. Learn more today at nysed.gov/adulted. A message from the New York State Education Department.
Carmelo Anthony here for DraftKings Sportsbook. An 82-game season, that's a grind. Trust me, I already know about that. The Emirates NBA Cup turns it up even more, and DraftKings Sportsbook lets you feel that fire every night. New customers, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Wrinkles, gray hair, and hearing loss are common signs of getting older. But being short of breath, having tightness in your chest, coughing, and wheezing are not.
Making sense of your world.
There are a lot of things that really tick me off.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of the news.
Visit copdfoundation.org
today for free. No appointment necessary. Just call in at 877-381-3811.
Qatar. God knows how long I've been providing you with information about Qatar, their money, where their money comes from, how it's invested in the United States. As a matter of fact, when I was putting this whole internet thing to the test, I simply linked to a statement made by an individual who was a Pakistani/Iranian background, who bragged in Qatar a few days ago at this forum in Qatar, out of his mouth, that one of his first investments was the platforming of Tucker Carlson. I call Qatarson, as you know. So I linked to that. And I said, I've been talking about this for months. And a gentleman who's also a Wall Street journalist, I can't remember his last name, his first name's Alex, doesn't really matter, said I was smearing the guy. And why am I dragging this guy into anything? I'm smearing the guy and dragging him into, you understand, they're very defensive about this. And I understand why. Qatar is the enemy. I'm sorry. Qatar is the enemy. They fund soft efforts to overthrow the West and terrorist efforts to overthrow the West. And they use the institutions of the West, the liberty that's provided by the West, the free speech that's provided by the West. They use capitalism to advance an agenda with their money. They just happen to be on top of the biggest natural gas reserves on the face of the earth. Trillions and trillions. A population of about 330,000, right, Carlson? And a million or so indentured servants, some of whom are treated as slaves. They're treated like crap. You can read it yourself. It's all over the place. Feel free to. They're in our colleges. They're in our universities. They're now in K through 12. Excuse me. They back Hamas. Hamas has spewed its poison into our country. Students for Justice in Palestine, which is a radical activist organization, same thing. So when the Secretary of DHS says this man, this killer from Afghanistan, was radicalized in the United States, we need to know all the details, don't we? Radicalized by whom? We literally have mosques now that are preaching overthrowing our country. In our country. We literally have efforts at creating neighborhoods and larger communities where Sharia law is the law of the community, not United States law. The governor of Texas is fighting this in Houston and outside of Plano, Texas. But it's happening all over the country. As I warned you, I love these people. I warned you. No, they didn't. Dearborn, Michigan. That's why I've been calling it Dearbornistan. Tens of thousands of individuals marching against our country and overthrowing our country. Trying to ban a Christian pastor who raised questions at a city council meeting with the mayor about naming the street over somebody who was sympathetic to terrorists and Hamas. said he'd like to throw him out of his town. Talib. Oh, I've exposed her over and over again. Omar. Over and over again. And a growing percentage of official Democrat Party. Josh Shapiro wants to be president so desperately, he had Thanksgiving with an imam who essentially supported Hamas. How about that? Nobody has more money or influence than Qatar or Saudi Arabia, our dear friend. 9/11 didn't just happen. It wasn't spontaneous. The vast majority of those terrorists were Saudis. KSM survived, escaped our FBI thanks to Qatar. Qatar. And we have people going over there praising Qatar. And we have Qatar has Formula Racing. Promoting it.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
Going on and on and on. We had 5 Republican congressmen. Laura Loomer was the first reported and discovered. Some of them have claimed to be conservatives. They spent Thanksgiving over there. Shocking, stunning, really. A couple of so-called internet influencers, so-called conservatives. They were over there. But that's okay, you said. Because there's Israel. Oh, I forgot. Yes, Israel preaching the overthrow of the United States, spending money to overthrow our country, right? These people are focused on the United States, on you and me. People need to be vetted. First of all, let me stop. There should be no more of this until we know exactly who's here, period. We've got to take inventory of what's going on here because of the prior regime and what it did. There's simply no question about it. We don't know who's here, and the president's trying to do that. We have to deal with this now. I love it when the media's, yeah, but he got his visa back to... Yeah. They're trying to find these people. And so while Trump and his administration and Noam and Bondi, they're trying to stop these people, of course people are going to get through. They don't know everybody who's here. They're trying to figure it out. Just like they're trying to find out what happened to hundreds of thousands of unaccompanied minors. Where are they? Just like they're trying to find out where are all these women who were sold into sex slavery. It wasn't done during this administration. It was done during the prior administration, and they're having to deal with it. That's the problem. But I want to be abundantly clear. Until we deal with Qatar.
Fuck you,
until
Wiggin.
We deal with Saudi
You
Arabia,
dumb son of a bitch.
until we deal with some of these countries that are playing both sides of the street, this is going to keep going on. And not just them.
So what? Acid sits there and talks to nobody.
These organizations. We need to know who's funding all of them.
You're either going to listen live or you're going to fucking go back and listen. You're listening live. I know you are.
To go into our colleges or universities or K through 12. That's it. That's it. Zero. We should have a brand new immigration law. And if the Democrats want to fight it, let them fight it. But it ought to be codified so it's not so easy to reverse. And the president should sign it. If you don't show allegiance to this country, you don't get to come into this country. That's it. You don't get to come in here, use the benefit of our institutions, but we have free speech. You're a foreigner. You shouldn't even be here. Cholera, excuse me. This has been my position from day one. You know, the old guard. Neocons. You know how complicated this is? Now that Biden let all these people into the country. Now that we have all these radical kook judges at the district court levels and on some of the circuit courts now, you know how difficult this is going to be, America? It's going to be very tough. Because keep something in mind, what I tell you all the time. The fusion of the Marxists and the Islamists. This is now not just the base of the Democrat Party, it is the Democrat Party. Again and again, I'm explaining. It is the Democrat Party. And it's the media. So they will fight this every step of the way. Doesn't matter what happens. You already hear them saying, you're going to blame all Afghanis for it? Is that what Trump's doing, blaming all Afghanis? No. He's saying, we had 120,000 or so people come into this country from Afghanistan, and we don't know who they are, and we need to find out who they are. And still the media and the Democrats don't want us to do it. In Somalia, that's another one. They've got criminal mobster activity going on in Minnesota to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. But this is the typical Democrat. Oh, it's racist to try and find out what's going on. Oh, really? Was it racist to go after the Italian mob? And if the Italian mob said it's racist, would anybody even give a damn? Or the Jewish mob or any other mob? The Russian mob? No, of course not. Of course not. Let me ask you something. Have you diversified your money? I'm quite serious about this. I do. Now, you don't have to do what I do. But we're just worried. I know enough history. Not ancient history, you hear it, even modern history. That when a government can't stop deficit spending, and the debt goes up and up and up, and the Federal Reserve basically monetizes, at some point that country hits a wall. President's been trying to do something about this. Even the Republicans have been trying to do something about this, but the Democrat Party is committed to bankruptcy. They're committed. They're committed to bankrupting the country. They're committed to destroying the currency. Why, Mark? Just trust me on this. They're doing it. So what do? You've got to protect what you have. You've got to protect your wealth. And you don't have to be rich to protect your wealth. You got to protect your pension, the pension money you're putting aside. You got to protect your savings, your salary. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. And that basket can't just be filled with paper money. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by silver. It's not backed by Walmarts. It's not backed by anything. For over 25 years, monetary gold has helped Americans get help protecting their wealth through every storm. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and a proven record of helping clients come out stronger on the other side. They've been around for about 25 years. Don't wait for others to fix it, because they're not going to fix it. You've got to fix it. And you can. Call 877-NOW-GOLD. They're there right now. 877-NOW-GOLD. Or visit marklovesgold.com. Do it right now. marklovesgold.com. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Gold typically gets stronger. Help protect what's yours. Performance may vary. Always consult your financial and tax professionals before making an investment decision. But by all means, find out what's going on. Give them a call. 877-NOW-GOLD. 877-NOW-GOLD. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense. right now. And MetaShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MetaShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
The Paul Steffen Home has saved hundreds of women and babies since it began its Save Babies One Mom at a Time mission. To save the baby, we must save the mom too. Please donate today. paulsteffenhome.org. paulsteffenhome.org.
At Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, we know healthcare works best when it works together. That's why we provide a coordinated, caring, personalized, and holistic health plan experience, ensuring that people come first. Service is simple, and our network is unmatched, period. It all comes down to connecting the dots for you and your employees, improving care, and helping to manage costs for everyone. Because when everything works together, everybody benefits. Learn more at excelisforbusiness.com.
Have you heard the story that's about a guy who lives in a bank that is really close by? The Capital One Cafe is his home, no doubt, where customers bank and get their cash out. There's no fees or minimums on checking accounts, so your money stays. Most Capital One Cafes are open all 7 days. This magical place, as some people might call it, is where the Capital One Bank guy says, "What's in your wallet?" Such a lovely tale.
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
Guys, are you looking for a good all-around men's health partner? For anything from weight loss to testosterone support and beyond, check out Rougiette. They got clinically backed medications and free consultations from board-certified doctors that make it easy to get a personalized treatment plan, all online. Plus, all prescriptions come from FDA-regulated pharmacies and shipped direct to your home. Stop making excuses and start making moves. Visit Rougiette.com/Levin to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/Levin. Use our code so they know we sent you. Get 15% off your first order now at RUGIET.com/Levin. Rougiette, your personalized men's health partner.
Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Visit the Rougiette website for full safety information.
Making sense of your world.
Greatly appreciated.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
I love listening to you.
Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of the vote because elections have consequences. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
I be here. Don't worry, Mr. Producer. I be here. I'll be out here. What is it, Monday? It's Monday. One of my favorite shows is on tonight. You know what it is, Mr. Producer? Chicago PD on Ion. It's a rerun. I love that show. What if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? That's right. Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket, finally getting a little breathing room ahead of the holidays. It's possible when you call American Financing today. You know, if you're feeling stretched by everyday expenses, groceries, gas, bills piling up, especially those damn credit cards. Oh, yeah, you're not alone. And you keep putting expenses on those credit cards and you're paying 20, 25, 30%. Folks, that's crazy. I'm here to help you. I want to throw you a lifeline. American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off that debt with rates in the low 5s. Now, their mortgage consultants are not on commission. They are salary-based. So they're not going to give you the bum's rush here. They're helping homeowners, including in this audience, just like you, restructure their loans, save money every single month, all without upfront fees. No upfront fees. Their customers are saving on average $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise every year without having to change a job. That's a big deal. Call American Financing today, 888-900-1828, 888-900-1828, 888-900-1828, or visit AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. APR rates for NF5 start at 6.196% for well-qualified borrowers. Call 800-900-1828 for details about credit costs and terms.
Dare I say there ought to be a blacklist of organizations that seek the overthrow of this country. Now, they're free to speak. In fact, the more they speak, the easier they are to identify. But if they're promoting the radicalization of individuals, then that's how you deal with it. You know, one of the things that bothers me is we always wring our hands after something horrific happens, like these murders in D.C., or murder so far, but others have been murdered too by the radicals. The list is growing. And people, how does this happen? How can this happen? And then when you have somebody who wants to do something, but hey, the First Amendment, and they don't even know what the First Amendment's about. You don't have a right to come to this country, period. Period. And once you're in this country, you don't have a right to stay in this country, period. And if you're in this country, you don't have a right to radicalize anybody to overthrow this country, period. That's it. And if we have organizations funded by billionaires in China, trillionaires in Qatar, China, George Soros, or whatever the hell it is, and Congress needs to step up, and others need to step up, and we cannot tolerate this in our country, period. We simply cannot. And don't keep telling me it's the First Amendment. It has nothing to do with the First Amendment. Zero. They use the First Amendment to allow people to come here, stay here, and try to overthrow our country. And many of these people are in our colleges and universities, not just as administrators and faculty members, but as students, intimidating other students. There is no academic freedom anymore. While people are screaming about the First Amendment, only certain people have a right to speak in this country. Let's be honest. In certain parts of our culture, only certain people can speak. When you have 40,000 people in Dearbornistan marching against the United States of America in or around Thanksgiving, there's something wrong. When you have efforts by imams to create Sharia law communities, something is wrong. And it's now or never. When we come back, here's my plan for increasing housing. I've talked about the younger generation, quote unquote. I want to talk about it again. People are listening. They're repeating what I say. That's a good thing. I'll be right back.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. They know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
Carmelo Anthony here for DraftKings Sportsbook. An 82-game season, that's a grind. Trust me, I already know about that. The Emirates NBA Cup turns it up even more, and DraftKings Sportsbook lets you feel that fire every night. New customers, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Cards and flowers at the site where 2 members of the National Guard were shot last week.
Honoring the memory of 20-year-old specialist Sarah Beckstrom. She passed away on Thanksgiving after the Wednesday afternoon ambush in broad daylight. 24-year-old Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf was critically wounded. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey says there are hopeful signs.
Andrew was asked if he could hear the nurse who asked the question to give a thumbs up, and he did respond.
The suspect is identified as an Afghan national who allegedly drove cross-country from Washington state to launch the attack.
Fox's Mike Emanuel in Washington. The suspect was trained by the CIA and fought alongside American troops in Afghanistan. The attack prompted President Trump to call for a pause in the program where thousands of Afghan refugees were admitted into the U.S. once the U.S. withdrew from Afghanistan in 2021. Heavy snow in the Midwest, snarling travel, people trying to make their way home after the Thanksgiving holiday.
We experienced on Saturday the most daily snow in November that Chicago's ever seen, almost 8.5 inches. Isn't that just remarkable? A lot of festivities and people enjoying it, but the problem with all of that is the travel. Oh my goodness. O'Hare International on Saturday, over 1,400 canceled flights that spilled into Sunday, hundreds of delays, and it just stranded people all over the country and all over the world because of how busy Chicago O'Hare International is.
Fox Weather's Robert Ray in Chicago, and Fox Weather's reporting a nor'easter expected to dump snow, sleet, and rain along the East Coast and into New England tomorrow. Luigi Mangione in court as his defense fights to exclude evidence from his trial in the killing of United Healthcare's CEO. America is listening to Fox News.
News on the horizon about the next mayor in D.C. I'm Dina Kodiak from the Novak Motors News Desk. Good evening. There are a lot of names being floated to possibly run for the mayor's job in D.C., but today we got our first official candidate.
I'm Denise Lewis-George, and I'm running for mayor because D.C. is worth fighting for.
The council member, a self-described Democratic Socialist, has represented Ward 4 since 2021. She says in the social media video, her campaign will focus on public safety and economic issues, such as lowering the cost of housing and childcare. Initially skeptical of the massive stadium deal, Lewis George ended up voting for it after securing an agreement from the Commanders to expand union protections. Her announcement comes on the heels of Zoran Mandani's victory in the New York City mayoral race. John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
A Frederick cold case dating back nearly 40 years has finally been solved thanks to the advances in DNA forensics.
Dolores was only 23 years old on February 1st, 1988, when she was found deceased inside her apartment on South Market Street.
Dolores Marie Thompson was killed by strangulation with evidence of sexual assault. Frederick Chief Jason Lando in a police video says detectives never gave up.
Using modern investigative techniques, they isolated a small area on bedding collected back in 1988.
Chief Lando says police got a hit on felon Calvin Ziegler, who was known to the victim, though the suspect died in 2010. Detective John Heller adds,
"We hope it offers the peace of finally knowing the truth."
Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com. The driver who slowed for a man on crutches trying to cross the road early Friday morning in Laurel was then carjacked at gunpoint by 2 accomplices who ran out of the surrounding woods, pulled the driver from the car on Brockbridge Road, threatened the driver with a shotgun, then fled. And Arundel County Police are looking for the 3 suspects. WMAL News Time is 8:04. I'm Dina Kubiak. Now here's your WMAL traffic and weather from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Outer loop of the Beltway, stop and go between Colesville Road and Connecticut Avenue. Construction going on there. Multiple lanes blocked. Be on the lookout. Also on the outer loop, still tapping the brakes just before Branch Avenue in Prince George's County. DC 295 northbound, signal delays on the 11th Street Bridge up to East Capitol Street. Southbound, though, you're moving along fine now between Eastern Avenue and the 11th Street Bridge. 395 north, also looking good across the 14th Street Bridge as you're making your way into the district. Now, from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Overcast tonight with a wintry mix developing late, lows in the 20s. Wintry mix tomorrow, highs in the upper 30s.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now, you'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
Tu camino hacia la educación para adultos empieza con AEPP. Te ayudamos a encontrar los programas que mejor se adapten a tu rutina. Saber más en nysep.gov/adulter. Este es un mensaje del Departamento de Educación del Estado de Nueva York.
Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text, or chat 988 if you're having tough thoughts, substance use issues, stress at home or at work. They can even talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also private. Asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. Just connect with 988, a message from the New York State Office of Mental Health.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. You know, maybe it was a month ago, I came behind this microphone, whenever it was, and I said to you, I actually said to a caller, I believe it was Mr. Producer. The caller said, I asked him how old he was. He said he's 20, and he was talking about how difficult it is for the people his age, and why don't we focus more on that? Remember that, Rich? And what I said to him was, the truth. And the truth is that for the vast majority of young people in this country today, 20, give or take, they've never had it better anywhere in the world than they have their lives today, including in our country. 20-year-olds have never had it better than they have it now. The reason why is they've never experienced a draft, a depression. And these are two of the great events. I don't mean great as in good, I mean great as in big, that have affected past generations. Hardship is being able to afford a home before you're 40. Hardship is trying to get a job, but not getting a job as quickly as you want to get a job. And I can go on. I'm not downplaying that things are challenging. Life is always challenging. There are people who have it very hard. Some are born with physical difficulties and they overcome the challenges. Some are born with mental difficulties and they overcome the challenge. They just keep fighting. Rush tells the story where he was fired 7 times before he actually could do a national show. I myself was out of work for 11 months. I lost everything, and I had to build it back from the bottom up. I didn't expect any help. I didn't get any help. I didn't ask for any help. I didn't blame capitalism. I didn't blame the system. You just got to fight in a free society, a capitalist society, and at some point you'll come on top. But there are people today who are buying homes. There are people today who are finding jobs. May not be the home they want right away. It may not even be the job that they want right away. My first jobs aren't what I actually wanted to do. And I'm sure that's the case with many of you who are listening to this program right now. I was watching Nikki Haley's son on Fox. And there's a young man, very articulate, no doubt he's very sharp. Basically, he's either in college or went to college and has had a very good life so far. But he's talking about how difficult young people his age have it. He was talking very quickly and was using statistics. And this is why they find socialism attractive. And this is why the Democrats are getting their votes and so forth and so on. I don't believe that. I believe they're being brainwashed at a very young age towards Marxism, against their country, against capitalism and so forth and so on. And it's had an impact. Now let's talk about housing affordability. Let me give you some suggestions I've been thinking about, I've been digging into, and then let's dig even further. How about we reform restrictive zoning laws that take place in towns and counties? Because they're getting worse and worse and worse. Same with permitting. How about we streamline permitting in our localities so more homes can be built? Different kinds of homes, varieties of homes. How about we have tax credits for new construction? Or how about tax credits for refurbishing older buildings, turning them into homes? What about that? How about we eliminate local impact fees, which are nothing more than taxes dressed up as something else? Unburden those who build homes. Unburden those who want to buy homes. How about we promote young people going into construction trades and building professions? Because we're down by what I was looking up, anywhere from 200,000 to 1 million. How about we do that? The Fed with the interest rates, very stubborn. They've given up a 1/4 point here and a 1/4 point there. There's no reason for that. You have an inflation under 3%. Rates should be much lower. And I'm not one of these guys that thinks they should always be low, but they should be much lower, given the nature of the economy and the fiscal condition. So the monetary system's not keeping up. Now, let's go through these. The Fed, president has no control over the Fed. Reform restrictive zoning laws in towns and counties. President has no control over that. Streamline permitting. President has some control over it, depending on the location, but the vast majority of that is local. Tax credits for new construction. We can do some of that at a federal level. It ought to be done at a state level. Eliminate local impact fees. President has no control over that. Promote construction trades and building profession. President can certainly do that. but so should the states and localities. Federal interest rates, the president has no control over that. So the vast majority of the things that need to be done to expand the housing market, increase the supply to meet the demand so the prices come down, take some of the overhead costs that are significant, thousands and thousands of dollars of new construction, and remove them so that the builder doesn't have to pay them, but more importantly, the customer, the buyer, doesn't have to pay them. But the vast majority of this is local, somewhat state, and minimally federal. So when people say the president needs to do something, he can make more public lands available. But then you'll hear people say he can't do it without Congress is okay. So they're trying to bottle him up so he can't do anything. But that's not the point. There are things that can be done. There's not a blue state in the country that will do anything I just mentioned. Not one. So the growth that's taking place is taking place in the red states. The reason you have massive population growth in Florida is you have a governor there that talks about even eliminating the property tax through a state constitutional amendment, because as governor, he does not control the property taxes that the counties put in place. So he's saying, look, we have these huge surpluses. We have money coming in from tourism, money coming in from major corporations and so forth and so on. I'll show you the numbers. We can eliminate the property tax for homeowners, not commercial property, over a period of a few years. Now you would have a housing boom in the state of Florida, wouldn't you? So the things that can be done, but most of them have to be done at the state and local level. But let me circle back to what I said over a month ago to the caller. What's now being repeated by other conservatives, a few, not enough. A few, but not enough. I know it's unpopular, as I said a month ago. And if I'm the only one, that's okay, although I'm told others are saying it now, and that's a good thing. And it won't make me popular, but I don't care. You know what's funny? I do this show. I've done it for years. And I'll say things that are not considered popular, and yet the audience grows and grows and grows. I am very worried about the weakness of this generation. Very worried about it. Not everybody. We have young men and women who join voluntarily in the military, young men and women who join to be cops and firefighters, young men and women who work in trades and do wonderful things. We have young men and women who go to college. Many of them pay for themselves, and they come out of college and they're still solid and they want to contribute to society, and many of them do. But we seem to have a growing number of people, and I won't say it's a majority, but a growing number of people, and I'm worried about it, who are weak. And this is where the grifters come in. This is where the Fuenteses come in, the Catarlsons come in, some of these pretend pollsters come in. This is where they come in. And they're not alone. There's others who play to this stereotype that young men, it's the system keeping you down. You can't do anything. Why bother trying? It's the system. Capitalism, it really isn't that great. What's all this market capitalism stuff? Maybe Qatar knows what they're doing. You got Lamborghinis there. They can put keys in them. They can drive them. Nobody bothers them. Maybe there's something to be said for this. Maybe there's something to be said for a centralized government and an iron fist. This is what they hear. Maybe it's the Jews who are taking your jobs away and your money away. Ever think of that? This is what they say. And they play into stereotypes, but one of the stereotypes they play into is this attack on red-blooded American young men. There's no question that the left goes after young men. There's no question about that. But the left goes after young women too. Boys in sports, men and women's sports. Abortion on demand. But the left goes after everybody. But to keep playing into and in fact putting down young men and making them angry, if you can, that's your effort. So you can get more eyes, you can grift more, and you can make more money. Is a poison. You know, when you're a father and your kid says, you know, I just can't make it, the system's against me, what do you tell them? You're right? The system sucks? Or do you tell them, look, son, it's tough out there. You got to compete. You got to take a job you may not want. And look for other jobs or try and create your own, but work your way up. Nothing comes easy for most people. Nothing comes easy. It didn't come easy for my generation. It didn't come easy for the generation before me. It didn't come easy for the greatest generation, for God's sakes. They had to fight a war. They had to fight a depression. That's the generation we should point to. Not these fools on the internet. Not these phony podcasters. They haven't done anything. And they're not doing anything. Pretty much talking to each other. But they haven't contributed anything. Point to people who have. And point to generations that have. Stop telling people that the system's so corrupt, it's so biased, it's so horrible, that you can't make it. Because now you sound like a Marxist. Now you sound like a thug as you're shoving loads of money in your pockets. And you're tearing down the country. The system is the country. It's the people. And to try and demoralize the people. To try and play this game, we're the greatest country on the face of the earth, except the way you're being treated is really abuse in many ways. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
¿Estás contemplando seguir tus estudios? Empieza con AEDP. Te ayudamos a encontrar programas educativos para adultos que mejor se adapten a tu rutina. Ya sea que desees prepararte para el GED, forjar habilidades de lectura y escritura, o descubrir oportunidades mediante aprendizaje laboral. Obtén más información hoy en nysed.gov/adulted. Este es un mensaje del Departamento de Educación del Estado de Nueva York.
Peace to the planet, Charlemagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text, or chat 988 if you're having tough thoughts, substance use issues, stress at home or at work. They can even talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also private. Asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. Just connect with 988, a message from the New York State Office of Mental Health.
These new cars are so advanced.
Thank you, Tim.
You can talk? Can you give me advice?
Well, you should have bought me with the Navy Federal Credit Union auto loan.
Really?
Correct. You could have received great rates and a pre-approval that's good for 90 days.
Do you have an off feature?
Do not be rude, Tim.
Learn more at NavyFederal.org/auto loans. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Credit and collateral subject to approval.
Carmelo Anthony here for DraftKings Sportsbook. An 82-game season, that's a grind. Trust me, I already know about that. The Emirates NBA Cup turns it up even more, and DraftKings Sportsbook lets you feel that fire every night. New customers, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
WMAL. I hear from Americans who feel like they're losing their voice, frustrated that their values are being ignored or erased. If that's you, let me tell you something that you can do right now. Join AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. AMAC isn't just another group. It's a powerful community built on faith, family, and common sense. They're standing in the gap, giving millions of Americans the tools to stay informed, engaged, and prepared. Members get real, practical benefits, unbelievable discounts on insurance, travel, and retail, plus access to exclusive resources in the AMAC magazine, which is truly one of the best publications out there. And for a limited time, you can join free for 90 days, no credit card required, no strings attached. Just a chance to see what the Association of Mature American Citizens is all about for free. So go to amac.us/Levin right now. That's amac.us/LEVIN. Take the first step and make your voice matter again. That's amac.us/LEVIN.
Now, so weak. Making sense of your world.
I agree with everything you're saying.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
My heart is great for what's going on.
Making sense of the news. WMAL's Vince Colonnese. Weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
You want to know why the West is collapsing? You can't possibly assimilate mass migration into a country, particularly when the institutions are controlled by the left. So there's no assimilation going on in the West. There's no assimilation going on in the United States of America. None. And so Elon Musk retweeted a post by Yamius Reno, international migrants as a share of the population in OECD countries. Switzerland, 31.1% of the country. Migrants. Australia, 30.4%. And a lot of this is from Muslim countries, which is why they're so anti-American and growing and anti-Israel. New Zealand, 28.2%. Austria, 25.5%, the number of migrants living in these countries as of 2024. Iceland, 25%. Ireland, which has gone off the edge of the earth, 23.1%. And by the way, in Ireland, it was 6.5% in 1990. Now it's 23%. In Iceland, it was 3.8% in 1990. Now it's 25%. Canada, 22.2%. That's a quarter of its population. Sweden in 1990 was 9.2%. Now it's 21.4%. Belgium, 20%. Germany, 19.8% migrants living now in Germany. Spain, 18.5%. Norway, 2024, 18.2%. Britain, 17.1%. Netherlands, 16.2%. The West is committing suicide. We are committing suicide. And the president knows it. And we have to stand behind the Border Patrol, stand behind ICE, federal law enforcement, local law enforcement. We have to stand behind the president and the Republicans who are trying to do something about this. And Kristi Noem, and Stephen Miller, Tom Holm, and other great patriots who are involved in trying to straighten this out. We'll be right back. Let me ask you something. Do you remember 2008? Well, do you remember all the bailouts, the fear, the sleepless nights watching your savings evaporate? I do. Well, I get a similar vibe of this kind of rot starting to be creeping in again. Bad loans, risky banks, mountains of debt nobody wants to talk about. Auto loan defaults are rising. Commercial real estate's not what it used to be. Look, we've been here before, and it usually doesn't end well for people who wait. But here's the good news. You don't have to sit helplessly this time. For over 25 years, Monetary Gold has helped Americans just like you get help protecting their wealth through every storm. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and a proven record of helping clients come out stronger on the other side. Call 877-NOW-GOLD or visit marklovesgold.com. When the dollar trembles, gold stands tall. Help protect what's yours. That's 877-NOW-GOLD, 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. Always consult your financial and tax professional before making an investment decision.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
Carmelo Anthony here for DraftKings Sportsbook. An 82-game season, that's a grind. Trust me, I already know about that. The Emirates NBA Cup turns it up even more, and DraftKings Sportsbook lets you feel that fire every night. New customers, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. In partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8.
Screen jumping. The fuck?
467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for.
All right, I'm leaving.
888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf
If somebody wants to come up, post in the side chat. I'm leaving. I'm going to relax the rest of the evening.
Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For
Yeah,
additional
full moon tonight, I think.
see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Thinking about continuing your education? Start with